So it's been a second. Can we talk? Let's talk. By the way, I was gonna use a microphone for this, but the audio quality just sounded really weird to me, but if it sounds bad to you, let me know, I will fix it. Anyway, you don't really have a choice in anything, especially not who you are. Crazy opener, I know, so let's start by setting a baseline. Who you are is your exposure. Let me explain with a lazy analogy, but it works. Think of yourself as a computer. Think of your hardware as your biology, your nature, the generations of evolution that genetically made up you. Your flesh, your brain, your physical form, that's your hardware. Your software, however, is very different. It was coded over time since the moment you were born or removed or hatched, I don't know. Since your first moment on this earth, you have hungrily devoured the inputs from the world around you, which has translated into the binary code of your software, which is, put simply, who you are. And that determines what you do. Inputs run through your unique code, which determines the output. Now, the idea of choice, the illusion of choice, comes from the fact that we cannot feasibly know all of our inputs and how they affect us. We cannot dissect and study ourselves, and so we have that illusion. We work the way we do. We are the way we are just because that's how it's always been. And that's fair. That works until it doesn't anymore. Your inputs, the things that make you you, have been pretty consistent over time. In fact, so much so that they've been given a name: agents of socialization. Things that you are exposed to that form you. So think family, friends, culture, religion, education. Things that are typically based in regional similarities. Your town, your village, your tribe will have pretty aligned and homogenous agents of socialization because you're all exposed to the same environmental factors. And that's made it pretty easy for humans to develop who they are. You don't have great internal conflict when you're only exposed to homogenous aligned agents of socialization. But something has changed that drastically. Globalized media, or mass media, or that damn phone, access to the entire world, new perspectives, diverse backgrounds, unbelievable information, all within milliseconds and gamified into entertainment. But I mean, like, who even cares? Is it really that serious? Everyone freaks out over innovation. I mean, Socrates hated the idea of writing. He thought it would make us no longer retain the information in our heads and, in his words, cause people to cease to exercise their memory and become forgetful. In the 15th century, with the invention of the printing press, an Italian humanist who I'm not going to attempt the name of, worried that the availability of books would make men intellectually lazy and less studious. In fact, most people believe that books becoming more accessible would undermine religious authority and demean scholars and scribes. And now, with phones, you have me alongside every other video essay person ever, constantly preaching against them. So is it not that deep? Is it the same pattern as always, just different tools? Okay, fair point. But what if those tools fundamentally change the way we interface with this world? What if those tools create a monopoly over our other agents of socialization? Listen, the online world is super cool. You can find just about anything on it. In fact, you can make friends on it. You can learn a lot. There is a unique digital culture full of rich dialects and native linguistic patterns. On here, we can find religious structure, faith, and purpose. We can find whatever we need to become a fully fledged human being. So much so that technology has now become a host for almost every other agent of socialization. And now the largest bulk of our exposure as young people is taken from a screen. Okay, whatever, dramatic, just put your phone down and touch grass. Okay, well, I've tried that. I'm sure you have, but you're still here. In fact, most people have tried. But since the dawn of the internet, sneaky recommender systems have been put in place to make us feel really comfortable here. These systems are very intelligent. They track us, our patterns, our data, our inputs. And they expose us to content they know we'll already like, users who are similar to us, and over time feed us this soothing false consensus bias comfortably in our little corner of the internet. And it does so through hyper-saturated 10-second gamified clips. So when we believe that the real world is dull in comparison, that people are just crazy and weird, aka existing adjacent to your digitally learned beliefs and norms, you feel inclined to go back to the warmth of your echo chamber. This is intentional, makes the real world feel hostile in comparison, so you isolate and therefore spend more time on the welcoming internet. But there's another intention here. There's a quote I heard when I was like 14, and I still remember it to this day. Everything needs to make money somehow. So when something is free to use, you are the product. On platforms like TikTok, your view count itself isn't what makes the app money. It's the amount of time you spend on the app. It's your eyeballs glazed over, glued to your screen as you scroll through countless videos and ads as intermission. Advertisers have long funded the digital world, from pop-ups about fad diets on BuzzFeed quizzes to unskippable ads on YouTube, to much more covert, visually pleasing marketing on TikTok. These ads are everywhere, and whether it's due to us not noticing them or us just getting used to them, they very quickly quickly become the scaffolding of all of online culture. The echo chambers you're placed in by these recommender systems don't just provide aligned consumption, but instead an easy, prescribed, spoon-fed web of identity. Hair is down, we are so back. Okay. Picture this, you are 13, a little girl, insecure, and in middle school. I had to get my hairbrush, sorry. You just want to fit in and make friends. You want to be cool, effortlessly cool, like the other girls, and the internet knows this. You're given clean girl, natural makeup routines, at-home workouts, unassuming, effortless style inspiration. And suddenly, you need a Stanley Cup. You need an aloe yoga mat and a matching set. You need a jade roller to do gua sha with because your face is just so puffy and chubby, not because you're 13 and prepubescent, but because you have to drain your whatever it is. You need skincare and clothing hauls and the newest cool girl shoes, and soon enough, you are buying to become. And so you become what you are exposed to, which are these advertisers. This is everywhere. I'm not being crazy. In fact, we can identify different webs of consumption, different echo chambers based off of aesthetic titles. Coquette listens to Lana Del Rey, loves frills and pink, shops at Brandy Melville and Cider, loves Diet Coke, Office Siren, Miu Miu glasses, IMG set, sometimes Zara, loves black coffee. Do I sound crazy yet? Well, I'm not. In fact, there are entire catalogs dedicated to tracking all of these aesthetics and what they connect to. These are entire identities rooted in material, marketed and shoved down our throats without us even realizing. And now, products, material items become the middleman for development. You want to be preppy, fit, cool, chic? Well, luckily, there are specific brands assigned to each of these traits. So if you want to become, you have to buy your way there. Whoa, okay, yikes. Let's take a second. Oh Lord, I didn't put enough creamer. Okay, so here's the question. Should we care? Could this all possibly link to this? To the aimlessness, hopelessness, desaturation that young people say rule their entire lives? Well, yeah, there's a lot of correlation. The internet has made us more antisocial, reliant, adverse to inconvenience. But what if that's just part of the pattern? Socrates wasn't wrong about what writing would do. We did, in fact, become dependent on writing down thoughts to remember them. And in a way, we did delegate that cognitive autonomy to written work. But while he wasn't wrong, he was short-sighted. He literally could not fathom the way reading and writing could help spread information, expand human knowledge, and even record history. And, I mean, same thing with the printing press. Were they wrong? No, mass-produced books did in fact undermine scholarly and religious authority. And to an extent, it did make thinking easier, making us lazier. Most of their fears were actually very relevant and still persist to this day. But they were also just part of the process of progressing, progress that helped our species greatly. So is this just more of the same? Here's what I think. I don't care. Because for a lot of us, it doesn't feel good. An hour scrolling on your phone drains you. Buying new clothes to rebrand who you are feels soulless and hopeless. We are in an epidemic of aimlessness, and whether or not that's just a precursor to some great leap in human evolution right now, it feels bad. So now the question becomes, how do we change when we don't have the choice? How do we rewire who we are when we can't control who we are at all? Well, okay. Let's break this down. We are our environment, our input. You watching this video is part of your input. Now, what you do with all of this information, I don't know. But here's what I'll tell you. You become what you've been most consistently exposed to. Most of personal development is actually very passive. You see a lot of videos about painting. You slowly become curious about it until suddenly one day you just decide to do it randomly, but subconsciously influenced by hundreds, maybe even thousands of videos over time. If you're seeing this video, let alone at this point of the video, I'm probably not the only person telling you to look up from your screen. This isn't new information, but it's more information. Another building block, another input that is slowly sculpting a part of you that eventually will stop. So even if you can't stop now, I know I can't, keep listening to the people who are telling you to. Videos like this, Substack articles, TikTok think pieces, fabricate emotional investment to the idea of returning to the real world. So in time, when the pressure builds up just enough and you cave, you already feel committed to it. And my commitment to you, I'll help that pressure build up. So stick around if you want.